the other part is if really 91 drones, long range drones, were launched at the official residence, uh, that means that there was Western intelligence support. Does that mean, which I can't imagine that being done without the United States? Which again gets back to the issue of negotiations. Um, I cannot rule out that there are elements within the CIA that will be undermining and countermanding Trump's orders. The Trump is not; he does not have the full backing of the intelligence community. Um, there was something very curious over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Well, actually, it started in July, but I just noticed it within the last 4 weeks. Well, one of my former colleagues, when I went into the CIA in 1985 in September, I was in what was called the Career Trainee Program. There were 53 of us. One of them was a 22-year-old girl, now 65-year-old woman or 63-year-old woman by the name of Susan Miller. Well, Susan was on Afshin Ratanzi's program on RT called Going Underground, in which she said that the CIA was working with Al Qaeda and ISIS. But before that, she was out on July on a CNN program claiming, saying she was the one that wrote the intelligence assessment, or at least headed the team that did the intelligence assessment, talking about Russia interference and meddling in the 2016 presidential election, something that Tulsi Gabbard has now come out and called completely bogus. And here was Susan saying, oh, no, it was legit. And why is she coming out now? And so this is what I mean. There's something going on with the agency and some former intelligence officers to undermine and countermand what Trump is doing. When we look at where the state of negotiations are between Ukraine and Russia, there's no basis for negotiation. It's like if you want to buy a brand new Lamborghini and you come to me and I'm telling you, I'm only going to sell you a rickshaw or a tuk-tuk, I guess in Thailand. What's the basis for negotiation there? There isn't one. You want something that I can't give, and I don't have what you want. And in this case, Ukraine, as Zelensky insisted as of 2 days ago, they're not going to cede any territory to Russia. And Russia says, fine, we're going to take it. Putin said that just 2 days ago. So the notion that there's some magic key or some point that can be agreed upon is nonsensical. There will be no negotiated settlement here. There's not, but Russia is looking to get back into normal relations with the United States. And so, yeah, whether this was a staged incident or not, it's going to be used as a basis for undermining Ukrainian credibility in the negotiations, and Russia can use it as an excuse to walk away.
Why do you think, if the CIA was behind this, or members of the military establishment, why would you assume they're doing it to undermine Trump? Is it also possible that they're doing it after getting orders from Trump to carry out these attacks to pressure Putin to accept some sort of peace deal? Because remember when we were talking about the red line and when Putin will use nuclear weapons, and what a lot of people would say is that that red line for him is when he feels threatened. That was probably the most dangerous red line, is when his life is threatened. So could this be an attack to maybe allow him to feel more threatened, and potentially persuade him to accept a peace deal other than what he's been demanding over the last few months?
Well, yeah, it will have the exact opposite effect. You saw what he did on Saturday. So Zelensky showed up on Sunday. You may have been traveling. So on Saturday in Russia, Putin again was out at the Western Front, and he showed up at a meeting again in uniform, and then in uniform he made the statement, but after getting briefed on the military situation, that frankly, we don't need to continue these negotiations with Ukraine over land and territory because we're going to take it. He was, I mean, he was unequivocal about that. So, he was sending another message as well to Trump just by showing up in uniform with the military command the day before these talks took place. Uh, Trump desperately wants to get some sort of peace deal that he can take credit for. And Russia would like to have normal relations with the United States, if nothing else, to just diffuse the chance of a nuclear conflict. But the problem is, it doesn't matter what they get, what agreement Russia gets with Trump, because the political establishment in the United States is so anti-Russian, so infected with Russophobia, that whatever deal Trump comes up with, they're going to accuse him of being a sellout. They're going to accuse him of being, a puppet of Putin. And
Could
so, go ahead.